introduce you to Who's Dating Now. Just
Yes.
basically two lovely, beautiful queens out here making it live in our worlds, trying to find that special someone to just bring that spark back, maybe even keep that spark going. So we're just sharing our experiences. We're going to see who we dating this week, who we looking at this week, hell, maybe what platform we're looking at this week, because I know I've been doing a little bit of searching myself. And then sometimes who just magically pops up into our world. So my name is Audrey Codner. Go ahead, Lisa, introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. My name is Lisa Valera, and Audrey and I have been really going back and forth and saying, you know what? This is a great conversation to have. I know we are not the only one that have been going through this. I don't even know how you say it. Tragedy of dating. It's like we come from an age where it used to be like, you meet somebody at the park or at the skating rink, you exchange numbers, and had to wait for somebody to call you, back in those days before cell phones and all that. Now you get unsolicited pictures. I mean,
Yep.
let's don't go there. Or I love I'm currently what's it called? Dating.com. I'm trying or
Okay.
tried, and I tried to delete it. And I'm having a horrible time because every time I hit delete, they say someone would come back to me. And that has not happened. So I'm gonna put a warning, people out there, red flag, huge red flag on dating.com. And they have people from everywhere across the world. So you can be talking to somebody from Germany to somebody in New York. And when you ask them, like, hey, this is not the platform I want to be on, hit me up on WhatsApp, they go, it's too soon for that. But you have to pay for everything. So I'm like, nah, let me find one like Bumble and Bumble has a new one now called Batadoo. Batadoo is really kind of interesting. It doesn't have the same platform like Bumble where you make the first move. It's almost like OK Cupid, and
Okay.
people can communicate with you anyway, and then you decide if you want to continue to talk or just skip over them altogether. And at least with this one, they kind of stay in your range. You know how you asked in the beginning, like, what range do you want?
Mm-hmm.
And being that I prefer somebody between 40 and 55, or even 40 and I'll even throw out 57 if you're a young 57. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this young man, and I'm gonna say he was 49. And the conversation was going good until he said, can I ask you a sexual question? And I
Oh, the
politely
sex
said,
question.
no. I'm like, no. I said, I'm looking to build a friendship before it goes there. Now, Audrey, I want to challenge you. How many of your that you try to communicate, try to slide in let's go to the meaty part, in their
Oh
world?
yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see. First it starts off with hi, how are you? Where are you located? Okay, how big are your boobs? All right, let's go. It's almost like, well, damn, like did you say it all in one breath or did you actually take a moment? Or it's like you'll have like an interesting conversation. You're like, we're sitting here, we're talking, that's about it. You're like, hey, what's your job? What do you do? Just
Mm-hmm.
small talk. And then you're like, okay, well, I have to go back to work or I just want to close out the day. Maybe we'll talk tomorrow. And then the next day, next thing you know, virtually you like hung up, chained up, handcuffed to something. Is your ass being smacked? What?
What
Damn,
happened?
this day two. It's not even day two. I'm like,
Oh,
can I
it,
have like what happens to that whole art of conversation? Like stimulate my mind. Like it's great. You can probably have the best body in the world, but my thing is we all know that bodies changes after you're in a relationship
mm-hmm.
and all this stuff And sometimes, like what people are bringing to the party, we're hoping that they're bringing a lot of themselves. But I'm
Right.
starting to see a lot of masks. Like, I'm not saying, like, oh, COVID, all right, let me cover up my
No,
face. It's like
exactly.
they're bringing, like, yeah, like, yeah. So
Like
sometimes, like you said, that whole jumping in, it's like, it's just so fast. Like, slow down.
it's it's really crazy to me, like how somebody, you're just trying to get to know them, and then next thing you know, they text you, "Hi, beautiful. Hi, babe. Hi, my
Yeah,
darling. I can't wait to see you, my darling."
exactly. It's
Okay.
only
I'm
been 30 minutes.
literally 30 minutes, but you didn't want to chat with me on WhatsApp. But,
Right.
so it's like I feel a lot of that. And then this other one, several of them, you are extreme. No, let me say this. What is your pet peeve when somebody's texting you? When they type you, and then R, the letter R, extremely sexy. And I'm sitting there going, I only got 3 pictures up. And only one, I do have one that shows a little cleavage, but extremely?
Right.
Thanks, but no thank you. Is it just
Right.
me? Am I, and
No,
I don't think I'm lowering myself in any way. It's just, I just feel like, is that the right adjective to use right away before you even get to know somebody? Like, I'm just extremely sexy. So that's all you see. You can't just say I have a beautiful smile and then we can move on from there.
I think the art of swag has shifted. Like,
Mm,
especially with us being, I'm not saying mature, I'm saying seasons, because
right,
we've been around for a little bit, we learned some things, and we learned how to develop more of a flavor to us. But it
right.
just seems like I just feel like a lot, and maybe not all men, because we're really just
Mhm,
based on all men. We're not doing any like women to women. I mean, there's nothing wrong
right.
with it, but sometimes even you'll sometimes see that in those relationships as well. So for me, I just feel like, especially men around my age, and I'm 50. So
Mhm,
anyone around in the 40s, in the 50s realm, I just feel like they were probably put through so much that we're getting the shell of the man and they're looking for someone to fill them up. And I'm
I
like,
agree.
I'm kind of going through stuff myself because, I'm a divorcee
Hmm.
and I'm looking someone to fill me up a little bit, even though I know I could fill my own cup. And
Right,
hopefully he's feeling the same way. But we all know that we never overflow that much. We still got room for someone else to add to it.
right.
But then we got two empty vessels looking at each other like, all
Who's
right,
gonna
and
put
all
in the
he
first
got
cup?
is, I got this. It's like,
Exactly,
got
exactly.
this is what I can give you right now. Brain power, I want to take that out because that other woman or that other person took so much out of me that I don't want to
Hmm.
think with this. I just want to think with this.
That, yep, exactly. And it's funny that you say that because a lot of guys, one guy told me, well, if you are not going to entertain this, I could find it somewhere else. And I'm willing to say, go ahead, knock yourself out. Because I'm not going to lower my standards so I can have somebody to talk with. I have a dog. I could talk to my dog, and believe it or not, she understands and communicates back with me. So, what I'm looking for is someone to be a companion. Now, maybe this is something I need to throw out there. Define companion. See, I think of a companion
Mm,
as, someone we talk with, go out with, maybe go to the movies, start to really learn each other. Then if it graduates to something a little bit more, and then we start doing all these other things, or, I just want somebody to be with me. Maybe I'm not ready to be married yet. Okay.
right,
But
right,
that doesn't mean I want my own person. That's my companion.
right,
Maybe
right.
someone else would call it their partner or their partner in crime. So yeah, I'm willing to I want to throw that question out there to anyone who's listening. Define what's a companion. You know, I'm a widow, so I've been a widow for 10 years. And I know for myself, I had to work on being alone, you know, not having that person there. So it took me a couple of years to really work on that. And then I went through, I went through my whole season. I played around. If anybody out there,
Solid.
check out Cougar Life. Now that was fun. And then,
Love it.
and so mind you, here I am, 60 years old, and I feel young, like a young 60. Right. I feel, you know, I always attract someone younger. And then when they, you know, guys like, hey, you know, can I get your number? Can I take you out? And we'll start talking. And he says, how old are you again? And all of a sudden it seems like it shifts a little bit, like, oh my gosh, she's a sex. I've never been with an older woman before. So now I'm no longer considered someone dating, but now I'm a conquest. Now you can also say we've always been there, you know, some conquest, either the first Black woman you ever been with, first older woman you ever been with, or, you know, number of things. But how do you shift it back a little bit? Now, somebody would also turn around and say, well, Lisa, you're 60 and you only want to date somebody younger than you. What are your challenges? Because, you know, guys 30, 35, 40 always hit me up, and we all know they want to have kids. Yours truly, I got sick in 2008. I can't produce a kid if I wanted to. And if I did produce a kid, you know what that means. Me and the Heavenly Father were having a conversation. But
we've been blessed.
But you know, you sit there and go, well, you know, there are some very intelligent younger men at 45, 50, 55 who are really just happy in their life, that they just want somebody to share it with. They don't want to have kids. They're into their businesses or into whatever they're into. So they wouldn't mind having a woman with them to share their life with. And then it goes back, I think somebody asked me, well, what do you bring to the table? Honey, I bring a bunch of personality. How about you try to figure out, let's talk about what is it that you want to the table? Okay. You know, I have my own house. I made a major move in the last year. So, you know, I'm pretty much feeling like I'm starting over again. So what is it that you expecting someone to do? I mean, I can cook, I can clean, but so can you, I hope.
Bam. Don't forget that.
You know?
Because
But,
I don't want you just to get me to be your substitute mama for
that
some of your
part.
kids or your grandkids. I don't want to be your maid. I don't want to be your conquest. I want to be, as much as we say, I want to be your equal. Like, that's just me. I like that partnership thing. You have your kingdom, I have my kingdom. Let's see if we can merge together to build our own empire. But then I need to back up what you're saying. Like, we're asking him, what do you want? I think after a while, we have been so trained as women to wait for a man to make that first move. We have been so trained for a long time to, okay, what do you want? And then we fill in. Why can't we switch that around? What's wrong with, all right, let me take a moment of my life to sit down and write and just be with myself and just figure out, what is it that I want? Because I know I had a rough time with my marriage, but at the same time, I was young. I wasn't young, but I was young minded. Like, I felt like I really truly don't understand the meaning of love. I know what love as a child is like. I know adolescent, like, hey, let's hang out, let's wear goofy outfits, that kid stuff. But when it comes to that adult love, knowing how to compromise, knowing how to communicate,
Mm.
knowing how to connect and just say the freakiest stuff and all the stuff that we do, that's amongst us. So when we're
Mm-hmm.
out in public, if I just give you that little eye, you know,
No, it's
all
time.
right, yeah, we need to go. Wrap this up. Let's go. Time to pack it up.
Exactly.
And then like
Track.
without anything, like those little
Mm-hmm.
small things, like I'm holding your hand and I'm drawing the little heart in your palm, and just like
Right.
little things, little connections. But before I can get to that, I have to know myself. And I think we get so consumed with what society defines love, or
Right.
what do let's be blunt, what do we get in those fairy tales, those the whole thing of Disney,
The
like
whole
any kind of
Disney.
Disney movie, any kind of, and let's be real, porn, like this is
Yes.
where we're getting our
Yes.
information from. So
Right.
then we're thinking that that is love, and that's not really love. The piece that's missing when everyone's like, I can't wait to get married, I can't wait to get married, I want to get married, I need for you to put a ring on it now, because you want to have the wedding. You want the
Right.
attention. You want the t-shirt that says bride to be, and you want the velour jumpsuit when your girls are there and you jumping on that party bus and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But once that wedding is over,
That
what
party is over.
happens during life, right? Because that's when really everything shifts, and we're not ready because no one taught us about that.
Exactly. And that's where you kind of look back at what were your examples of marriage? What was your
Mm,
example of relationships? A lot of times guys don't know. If they had an absent father or absent mother, something like that, they don't know. Even women, my father didn't live in our house, and my mother was bitter for a long time. So when I saw the way she treated my stepfather, kind of made me think, I don't want to do that. I know I don't want to do that, but I didn't know how to nurture either. So it goes both ways. And
right.
you hit the nail on the head when, you want to be in a relationship, you want to get married, I want that diamond, and, I want that party. And it's like, what it kicked up to be. You and I have been both married. I was married for 15 years before my husband passed away. And that was marriage number 3. The first 2 were just young and dumb, like I shouldn't even done it. Like, how you say you're at work and it's like this meeting could have been an email. That's how I feel
Right.
about my first 2 relationships. It really should have been an email. I should have just like, I'm good.
Right.
Stepping on out. But we learn from our mistakes. And that goes back to your
Mm-hmm.
point of working on ourselves. But let's go back to the main thing we're talking about, dating
Yes.
online, those
Yes.
experiences. I mean, you and I were both, matter of fact, how we met, well,
Yep.
we were in a Facebook group, and it was
Yes. Oh
like,
my Lord.
have you seen the guys in this pool? Like, no, seriously, where did they come from? Now, don't get me wrong. Please,
Right.
anybody out there, don't get me wrong. I love a hardworking man. I don't have a problem
Yes.
dating a blue collar guy versus a white collar guy. As
Yes.
I'm sitting here in my t-shirt or whatever, but I feel like if this guy sitting up there, well, nobody will like me. Well, your profile picture looks like a mug shot, okay?
Preach.
Or you taking the picture of you laying on your couch, like you've been there, like your couch is holding you up. Let's think about it. About it. And then you're like, I'm sitting up here showing you my picture of me, out. I'm out with the girls. I'm
Mm-hmm.
out with my wine. I'm not in the house. I'm outside.
Right.
You think you can hang with me? But again, maybe he thought that was a good picture. He should have asked a friend. Just saying. Or you get somebody who is a professional, but
Mm-hmm.
he's just not your type.
Right.
He has a nice conversation, eager to want to get to know you. How do you sit there and tell somebody, but you're not my type? without hurting their feelings. Because you know what? I'm not everybody's type. I know
No,
that for a fact.
same.
I'm loud. I'm an extrovert. I, got a little ADHD, so I might go, oh, we having a deep conversation. Oh, did you see that? Did you see that? So, we all have our flaws. But when you're online dating, how do you cut that fat and get to the ones you want? Now, Audrey, you and I talked about, well, you get what you get when it's a free app. But then here I go try this other app, and I'm like, I'm not paying $100 a day for you to just talk nonsense to me.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
I don't know why you feel you want Chick-fil-A service, and you're on the Popeye menu. Ain't happening.
Right.
So now
and
it's
I
like,
love when they do it for you. Like they try to get that person to like, oh, we got a match for you. And you're like, okay, damn, you don't
and you
know
look
me.
at it and you're
You
like,
don't
damn.
know me.
It's like, damn, how did you get that from my picture? Okay, maybe I need to reevaluate myself. Or is there something on my forehead? Or maybe I should be always fully clothed. Like, don't show the cleavage, You want to show your sexy side. Every woman wants to be able to show that sexy side, that fun side, that flirty side. But you don't want a guy that's all like, remember in the cartoon with the dog with his tongue hanging all out, eyes popping out.
Right. Eyes bulging out of his head.
Yes.
And then they talk some sexy stuff to you, which you don't feel like is sexy. You're like, yeah.
It's like, dude,
That's what
really?
I want. And you're like, I feel the ooze. Like I know.
I got the
But it's almost like it's just like we were talking about. A lot of these guys weren't taught. So they think that that's what we want to hear because maybe it worked at one time in their lifetime. Maybe it worked when they were in high school. Maybe hell, it might have worked last week because you never know who's coming in there. But when I'm sitting here, I'm like, look, you have a queen in front of you. You can't look like the court jester on crack. Like, come on, you coming after some beautiful Black queens, and that's the group that we were in. Crack. I mean, there was queen after queen after queen. I was like, ooh, I am not. Yeah. Compared to that girl, yeah, she bringing it. And then you see dude coming in. No disrespect, some of them are quite handsome, but then some of them will be like no shirt, hair all kinds of jacked up, looking at you like he just killed 5 people before he took that picture. Exactly. And we're all like, and we're sitting here, we're bringing you greatness, but it's almost like, just take the time to comb your hair. You don't have to be in a suit or anything like that, but just kind of like straighten yourself out because it seems like that's why I keep saying like a shell of a man because he's got maybe that sensibility just got sucked out of him from someone else. And he's like, I need someone to fix me up. Right. But put that in your profile that you need someone to fix you up. But for me, I'm at this state in my mind that I don't want to fix. And I know that's probably asking for a lot, but I'm willing to compromise. But there's certain things that I don't want to compromise. But unfortunately, I got to make this judgment through a picture. Right. And it's a picture of your choice. And then it's not, I mean, I feel bad sometimes when I hit that X or I swipe left because I'm like, who am I to judge? Like, they probably look at my picture like, why she think she all that? Exactly. Right. And so where does the grace fall in? Where does, what tips can someone share? My brother met his wife online. Hit bingo. My brother-in-law met his wife online. Bing, bing. And she was like, you got to kiss 100 frogs before you get your prince. I said, 100? Like, that's a lot of frogs, man. That's a lot of damn. I'm worried I'm going to get some warts. 100? But, and it's funny where do people meet their spouses? I met my husband at work, literally at work. And it happened. It just, fell into it that way. So now here we are doing this online dating.
And, you might get a chance. Like I did meet one guy online. He was absolutely awesome. And we had a great time and we built a great friendship. It's just that he wants to have kids. Okay. So we respect that boundary and we're friends to this day. So there are some success stories, I know, but it seemed like it's more not than there are.
Yeah.
So,
and then that's why we go relatively younger, but not too young. Like it's almost like there's a line. And if one more man says, age ain't nothing but a number, I swear I will find him. And I better not say it on here because I'll probably go to jail. But that's where I'm at. Like
well, I tell you
that's where
what,
I'm at. Like if I'm
I,
telling you where my boundary is, I
yes,
don't feel, especially for me, like I met my husband on online on OK
okay.
Cupid, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like it was brand new and all this other stuff. And this is like when eHarmony was first starting. Like this was like before I got married, like I was on all the platforms, like
Right,
even tall friends, like people, I was looking for tall people, but all these short
right.
people were on tall friends. I need for the short people to stop. Stop stealing our 6-footers. And then all of a sudden you're gonna be like, oh my God, your man is short. Your man is like in your backpack like Dora the Explorer. Look, if I ain't have to come in here with your little 5'2" with this 6'7" honey dip, I wouldn't have
Yeah.
to be dealing with like 5'6". But hey, I like my short kings. They
Okay.
appreciate me. I appreciate you. But is that my dream? I would like
Right.
to kind of look up a little at my man, just a little
Just a
smidge,
little.
little 6'2s. Wear
And you
heels one
have
time
to.
and make me feel proud. Like I know he happy because he like, look at all this. This is all mine. I climb
Exactly.
this every night. I'm like, but what am I climbing? A shrub, man.
Stop it. But
Yeah,
again,
help us, sister,
let
out.
there's nothing wrong with wanting what you want at all.
Right,
And there's
right.
nothing wrong with opening up not to be so I say
Narrow
horizon.
minded.
Right. I don't want to say horizons, but I do want to say be open to different choices. Because you know what? You like we both said, we both like taller men. But you get that one guy that is like an inch or two shorter than you, but he's got the confidence of a guy 6'5". He has everything you want, but he's this much. And I'm like this. How am I going to deny that if the attraction
Right,
is there?
right,
It's almost like that story where they said, here you are, here's your man, and here's the elevator. You go to the first and second and third, and you still keep looking. And then when you get up to the top, there's nothing there. And then it's
right.
like, well, you can't go back down, because you had. So what is the moral of the story is?
Right.
I still waiting to find that one out.
Right. Exactly. So, and that's the whole
Oh,
reason why we're here, because we're here to share out
exactly.
like how we're sampling things out. For me, I'm basically, I wouldn't say I'm freshly divorced. So this is like, all right, making that whole conversion. And and everyone always, I see all these memes of people complaining and they're like, oh my God, next thing you know, you got a dick pic. And they're like, I just said hi. Boom. How do you like this? Damn.
I would never forget the one time
Hello.
I was talking with a guy, and I want to say it was on OK Cupid. It wasn't Cougar Life, that's for sure. Because Cougar Life, expect that. Come on. It's Cougar Life. It's an older woman looking for younger men. What more do you want? Is it because you want that drive to be fulfilled? So
Mm,
if you get a dick pic, you're like, well, it's good to kind of know what you're going to get before you get it. And, nothing wrong with a preview. But
right.
when you start to say, and you say in your profile, I'm looking for a relationship. Okay. Why did you think it was okay to send me a dick pic before we
Right.
even had coffee? You know, it's like, yo, am I supposed to be impressed? Like literally, I was upset one time, and the guy goes, "Oh, you didn't mention anything about my picture," because he slid it in among 5 other pictures. And I said,
Mm,
"Well, I didn't know what kind of response to give you. I've seen one of them before. You know, I have 3 kids. I kind of know what
right.
a penis look like." Yeah, okay, it's nice. It wasn't one of those like it came up through your chest, and I was like, "Whoa, okay,
Right.
how are we gonna handle that one?" And we all know we came across that one dick pic that you went, okay. I'm trying to push the hole down in me because the hole in me is like, oh, we can really. Well, did you see? Shut up. We're not talking about that right now. We want a relationship. Have a relationship with that. You work on the rest of the body.
You're like, what am I gonna like? What am I supposed to do with that? Like, what are we gonna do with that? Where
So,
you think that's going?
else has those challenges. Like you constantly are having this argument with yourself. You know, it's like, oh, you look good, you have a good job, and then he slides in that one picture. You're like, mm, I'm trying my very best. And that other one is coming up here right here. Girl, it's been a minute since you had some good dick. Come on now.
It's like
I
you
love
got the angel on one side, the devil on the other side,
Yes.
but the devil is starting to win, and you're like,
Oh, come on, Jesus. How did you make it those 40 days and 40 nights? Help a sister out. Is there come on, somebody give me a little note or something. But yeah, that is exactly, you know, dating comes down to. And then when you do kind of meet somebody, like, I met this one guy online and again, very successful, lived in Queens and, nice looking and everything. And we started talking and he told me he agreed with everything I said. And we got together and it was all nice. And as soon as I deleted my profile and said, yes, this is who I want to be with, this is my person, he showed his true self. And it's like,
mm,
really?
yeah,
And then I started questioning myself, like, how did I miss those flags? What flag, because we always say pay attention, they'll show you their true self, and believe them who they, this guy, he did well. Like literally, it was 6 months in. And I was like, wow, wow.
right. And
It's
that's
like,
what those are the ones that hurt because
yes.
you're just like, okay, or better yet, like, all right, you close down, you're like, boom, I'm off this app, I'm done, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, you're like, you know what? Let me see that one picture one more time. Maybe he's not on there, but I'm just gonna go on there. And you go on there, and then you see his picture, and you see the last
Mm-hmm.
time he was active, and you're like, oh, so
Okay.
you still fishing, you still
Right.
going out and fishing, but you're making it seem like we're it.
It's just
And
this. Yep.
it's I know it's a game. It's a game.
Mm-hmm.
So like for me, I don't know how long we want to do this. I mean, like we're gonna be out here doing this. I'm thinking like maybe like 45 minutes because we're gonna try to give as much app information and just to share it. But
Yes.
again, this is us. This is us at like who's dating now. So we're gonna be here as often as we can just to break all the downs. And I'm looking at one particular person, and then there was a couple interesting people. I think the summer's coming, so everybody's like out hunting.
Because
They're all
mind
out
you,
there.
preparing for cuffing season, because you know what? You don't want to come around October or something. You need to find somebody that's going to warm you up in those winter nights. You know what I'm saying? So
Right,
trying to build up that
that
roster.
roster.
Thanks, lady.
Build
I
up that
appreciate this.
roster.
Totally appreciate this. Totally. So yeah, let's see how this goes. We catch up with you guys. What, next week? Same
Yep.
time, same back channel.
Yep. See you guys. Take care.
Yeah. Bye.